What's going on, guys? Welcome to Soniq Sounds, and today we're going to talk about Soundtoys. Soundtoys is known for making amazing analog modeled plugins. They make delays, reverbs, compressors, channel strips, and a bunch of other things that you can just slap onto your track and get a vintage sound or get a very classic analog modeled sound. Soundtoys is running a sale right now, so I took this time to buy the plugins and use them in one of my sessions. So let's walk through it, and maybe this will help you decide whether you want to take this time to buy these plugins or not. So let's jump into it. Let's jump into the track and hear some of the things that I've done with the plugin. One of the first things you'll hear is this vocal effect. Now, this is a loop from Splice that I chopped up, and I am using the effect rack. Now, effect rack is something that the full version will come up with, and you can go through these presets, and they have a bunch of great sounding presets that you can just select, and it will use all of their plugins to make this sound. So let me show you what it's doing to this vocal chop. That's a very clean sound. It's automatically adding a lot of that vintage grit kind of a sound. It's using their filters plugin. It's using their EQs, their compressors. It's using a bit of echo and this is the Radiator mix amp that I was talking about that adds a lot of that vintage color to it. So that's one utility of the Effect Rack plugin, and you can see that it has so many presets that you can just play around for days and days and get different sounds out of the instruments you already have. One of the other places I used their plugin was the EQ, the Sai EQ plugin, and this is one of my favorite plugins to use on vocals as well as other things. But let me show you this piano, what it sounded like before, and then I added this preset called Scooped and adjusted it a little bit to get the sound of piano. Already a great sounding piano, but when I add to it, check what happens. So it's cleaning a lot of the low end mud up. So I use those two plugins for that. Did not use it on my electric pianos, but where I am using this is on this guitar track. So let's play this and see what the instrumentation is doing, and let's see how the guitar track can work. So if you're using some good headphones, you can see that the sound is going from right to left, and this is from the plugin called Panman. This is one of my favorite plugins to use on ear candy stuff, for example, guitar plucks, hi-hats, and you can really get the sound to go super wide, right to left, and choose different patterns as well. So let's mess around with this. This is probably one of my favorite plugins. So that smoothens the sound out, and then this width would really get the sound to go from right to left. It just really spreads the sound apart. So let's hear that. And you can see this meter here that shows how wide the sound is going. Again, let's hear it with and without, and you'll hear the difference and the magic this plugin is doing. It is great. It adds a lot of magic and movement to the particular sound that you'd use it on. Another plugin that I used is the Radiator plugin that they have, and Radiator it's really where I really like it is you put on your drum bus and just mix it to your liking, and it really gets the dirt and the grit into your drum tracks. Now, this may not suit every single type of track you're working on, but for the one that I'm working on, it works pretty well. So let's go to the section where the drums actually come in pretty heavy, right here. Let's leave it bypass and then add it on. So you can see that you have a few input options here, a clean or a noisy input. You can boost or reduce your bass. I'm bumping my treble up because I really wanted to affect the treble part, and I'm mixing it slightly in with and without it. You can already hear the difference. It gives it a little bit of that body. Super cool. Now, where I really use these plugins is for vocals, and I already showed you how I use it for creating vocal harmonies that are a pitch higher and lower. If you want to see that video, just click here and you'll get to it. But here's what it sounds like. Like I said, I really do end up using a lot of their plugins on the vocals. So let's look at what I'm doing here. I'm adding a bit of EQ from EOS's plugin, but let's listen to this vocal take before any kind of effects.
Try to be honest, I'm not good at letting down my guard, but I really want it.
It's a very well recorded vocal, but what I'm doing here is I'm adding their little plate plugin, and I'm adding a very vintage sounding reverb on it. So let's listen to what this plugin does.
Try to be honest, I'm not good at letting down my guard, but I really want it. Before you, I was running in the dark.
Super dope. It's one of my favorite reverb plugins next to the Valhalla reverbs. And then what I'm also doing is I am adding a delay using Echo Boy. Now this is a very, very famous industry standard delay plugin, and you'll hear it on almost every single big record out there. Every big engineer has this. They swear by it. It's one of the best analog modeled delays out there. So let's see what this plugin is doing.
Try to be honest, I'm not good at letting down my guard, but I really want it. Before you, I was running in the dark.
And what's really good is that you can control the saturation, or so what kind of effect you want to add to the echo itself, whether you want a low cut, high cut, how much you want to mix it in, what kind of timing, whether you want it delayed by milliseconds or you want it to be aligned with your tempo. You can really do a lot of things with all of these plugins. And what's really cool when you end up buying the full package is that you get the little version of each one of these plugins as well. So there's a version for Little Altar Boy. Little Plate already exists, but then you get Echo Boy Jr., which is a smaller baby version of this plugin, and you can still use that. So that's great. And one of my other favorite plugin is this plugin called Microshift. Now, where I use this plugin is to create width in the vocals. So let me just play it by enabling this, and you'll automatically hear the difference.
Try to be honest, I'm not good at letting down my guard, but I really want it. Before you, I was running in the dark. When you said this was
absolutely favorite. I mean, when you're playing this in a whole mix and you play it with and without, you can hear the difference. Let's check it out.
Try to be honest, I'm not good at letting down my guard, but I really want it. Before you, I was running in the dark. When you said this was goodbye, that's when I realized I can't live without you. I can't live without you. I can't live without you. I can't live without.
Super dope uses of the plugins that are given in the Soundtoys full package. I bought the Soundtoys 5. You can also buy the effect rack, which is normally $299, but it's on sale for $199. And the Soundtoys 5 normally is $499, but it is 40% off. You can get it for $299. So that is how I use the Soundtoys plugin into my workflow. Now, I only explored some of the plugins, but it is an amazing sale. I really like the plugin, so I ended up buying it. Echo Boy Jr., the Sai EQ is my favorite. And obviously, you get the effect rack, so you can just play around, bring in your samples, bring in your loops, load up the effect rack, and see what kind of magic you can do with your samples that are already out there. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video on how I use Soundtoys plugin. Again, like I said, I did a video on how to change the vocal format and adding a bit of harmonies, a vocal octave above. So if you just click on the playlist, you can go to that video. If you have any questions, as usual, leave them in the comment box. I'll be checking them out, responding to them. And again, if you like the content, consider liking and subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you guys at the next one.